Why do administrative tribunals say they cannot decide constitutional questions? It's August 3rd, 2026. Welcome to YesToHellWith.com. This is part 3 in a series of videos about the Constitution and the courts. Yesterday, I asked what I believed was one of the most important constitutional questions facing Americans today. If you've not seen that video, I encourage you to watch it first. The question was simple. If the Constitution limits government, where does the Constitution actually become a practical protection for Americans? Today, I want to take the next step. Let's assume that you receive a citation from your city. Perhaps it's a zoning violation. Perhaps it's an ordinance concerning your property. Perhaps it's a licensing issue. Whatever the issue may be, you appear before an administrative hearing officer. You begin explaining why you believe the ordinance exceeds the constitutional limits placed upon government. The hearing officer responds, "I don't decide constitutional questions." Or perhaps he says, "My responsibility is simply to apply the ordinance, sir." Now, most people hear that statement and immediately become frustrated. They think the hearing officer is saying the Constitution doesn't matter. But is that really what is being said, or is something else happening? Let's ask a better question. What authority has been entrusted to the administrative tribunal? Notice what we've done. We have not begun with enforcement. We have not started with the ordinance. We have not begun with the Constitution. We have started with authority. That is where the Liberty Dialogue system always begins. Administrative tribunals generally exist because a legislature or local government created them to administer a particular body of statutes, ordinances, or regulations. A zoning board administers zoning ordinances. A licensing board administers licensing regulations. A tax tribunal administers tax rules and regulations. Each has been assigned a particular responsibility. That responsibility is usually limited. So when the hearing officer says, "I do not decide constitutional questions," he may actually be saying something much more narrow. He may be saying, "The authority entrusted to me is limited to administering the ordinance before me, sir." Those are very different statements. Now stop and think about what that means. If the tribunal's authority is limited, then the Constitution has not disappeared. The question simply becomes, who has authority to determine whether the ordinance itself exceeds constitutional limits? That is the question. And that question leads us to another. Suppose no one in the administrative process claims authority to answer that constitutional question. Then what? The city enacted the ordinance, it enforces it, and the administrative tribunal applies the ordinance. The citizen, in essence, loses. Now the citizen is told that if he wants constitutional review, he may have to continue through additional proceedings, months, perhaps years, perhaps substantial legal expense. So let me ask you something. If constitutional protections become practically available only after, let's just say, years of litigation, have we really answered the citizen's constitutional concern? Or have we simply postponed it? I'm not answering that question today, I'm asking it because I believe it is one of the most important constitutional questions we can ask. The Liberty Dialogue system teaches us not to begin with conclusions. It teaches us to investigate, to ask better questions. So let me leave you with this. If the administrative tribunal says it lacks authority to determine whether government has exceeded constitutional limits, Where does that authority actually reside? Who has it? When may it be exercised? How is the citizen supposed to obtain the benefit of constitutional limitations without years of litigation and extraordinary expense? Those are not political questions. Those are structural constitutional questions. And in the next video, we're going to ask what may be the most important question of all. Did the framers of the Constitution intend for constitutional limitations to depend upon years of litigation before they become practically available to the people? And as always, may truth reign supreme.